Hello everyone, happy festive season. Whether you're celebrating or not, I hope you are all happy and healthy and enjoying this lovely time of year where everyone's just a bit more cheery, where you've got nice decorations, the best food is out. So yes, I hope no matter what you're doing this year, I hope you're happy. I am doing this video on the 4th of December of books I want to read this Christmas, and so far it's going well because I haven't started a single one, and the book stack is 7 books long and one of them is chunky. So I know it's an ambitious stack. I know I'm not going to get through all of them. I'll probably get through one, but I'll carry them over to next year or read them after Christmas and between New Year's, because I think even though Christmas is over, I still like reading festive books. But I will not be reading one like in the middle of June. That's a bit too much. So I have a very ambitious stack of books that I'm not going to go through all of them. But I thought I would share with you the books I have this year for Christmas that I have gained in my book collection that I will be reading to get me into the festive spirit, and it might, you know, give you guys some inspiration for some books to pick up. There were 2 books I wanted to also get, and that was Kiss Her Once for Me, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's the fake dating book about a girl who fake dates a boy and then falls in love with his sister. I did want to read those 2, but one isn't out until the 22nd of December, and I'm like, that's going to give me like 3 days to read it, and that's not going to happen. And then one doesn't come out until next year. I've got to read that next Christmas. So those 2 books are not in my stack, but I did want them in my stack, and I'm really sad about it. But you know, I have another whole load here to make up for it, so I can't really complain. So let's get into the books, which is what we're all here for. The first book I have is a Jenny Colgan book called The Christmas Bookshop. Last year I read a book by Jenny Colgan called Christmas on the Island Hotel, I think. Might have made that up, but it was something along those lines. And I really enjoyed that. Like, I don't really like cosy, romantic, gushy stories, but when it comes to Christmas, I make an exception, and that was really lovely. It was about a girl who goes to spend Christmas on this island, and it's just about the people she meets. Of course she falls in love, but at Christmas it's okay, and it's about how they make it a really nice, special, festive time for everyone, even though everyone's kind of struggling with their own little battles, and that was really lovely. So I really think I really like Jenny Colgan as an author. So her next book, The Christmas Bookshop, is typical corny Christmas stuff, but I love it. Basically, a girl is very stubborn, she doesn't like accepting help, she needs a job, her sister gets her a job in a bookshop, and the bookshop is really struggling, it's probably going to close down, and they're like, oh, we're going to need a Christmas miracle to keep this bookshop running. And then a young handsome stranger walks into the bookshop who probably has a lot of money, let's be honest, probably falls in love with the lead girl, and probably saves the bookshop. That is my prediction, but that is the book, and it just sounds really cozy and lovely and complete polar opposite of what I normally read. But when it comes to Christmas, suddenly that's all I want to read. And come on, it's set in a bookshop and I'm a book nerd, what else am I going to read at Christmas? So yeah, this sounds really sweet and cozy and lovely, and I think this will be one of my priority Christmas reads, maybe the next one I pick up. Next up is a book my friend Ashley told me to read. They said this is a modern retelling of A Christmas Carol, and it's called The Afterlife of Holly Chase. So yeah, it's about a girl who was visited by the 3 ghosts of Christmas, and then she died, and now she works for like the Christmas ghosts, so she is the ghost of Christmas past now, and she meets a Scrooge who, like, I don't know, changes her perspective, because like previously the 3 ghosts that visited her showed her how selfish and spoiled and horrible she is, and then she died, and now she is the ghost of Christmas past, and so she can kind of put that real perspective onto the people she visits because she's experienced it herself. And so she meets a Scrooge this year who apparently this year's Scrooge is about to change everything. I don't know anything about this book at all, but my friend Ashley told me that it was great, and I trust their judgment. Because this has been on my bookshelf for over a year, and this is now the 2nd year it's been on my bookshelf, I feel like this will be the 2nd priority this year, because I cannot have it on my bookshelf for a 3rd year. That is just ridiculous. So that might be the 2nd book I pick up. Next up is a book called The Christmas Postcards. I have seen this all over Bookstagram, and I did not realise it was that popular. I picked it up because it was in Tesco, because, you know, that's where I get my books from. It was in Tesco, and it sounded really sweet. Basically, a man and woman, their marriage is on the rocks. They go out one day with their little child. Their child loses their toy, and obviously we all know that's a disaster. So the mum turns to social media and is like, have you seen this toy? And a man on social media has seen the toy, and he kind of gives the mum updates on the toy over social media, I think. Yeah, when Duffy promises to keep Natasha updated with pictures, and they soon start, like, you know, keeping in touch, and it becomes a bit meaningful to them. They may be starting to catch feelings, is what I'm thinking, even though they've never met, and that's an interesting point of view, but you know, you do you. Yeah, so I'm guessing this is going to be like a romantic kind of it starts off as a correspondence to get their kid's toy back, and it turns into so much more, like one of those books, you know what I mean? That is the Christmas postcards, and it's been really popular this year, so I have high hopes for that one. Next up is this book, The Winter Garden, and it has really pretty edges. I bought this in a January sale because it was a hardback in Waterstones, and that's when they were doing their 50% off hardback sales, and I actually have no idea what this book is about. So we're going to read the inside of it because I bought it so long ago that I can't remember. Welcome to the Winter Garden, open only at 13 o'clock. On the night her mother dies, 8-year-old Beatrice receives an invitation to the mysterious Winter Garden, a place of wonder and magic filled with all manner of strange and sublime flora and fauna. The garden is her solace every night for 7 days. But when the garden disappears and no one believes her story, Beatrice is left to wonder if it was truly real. 18 years later, on the eve of her wedding to a man her late father approved of but she does not love, Beatrice makes the decision to throw off the expectations of Victorian English society and search for the garden. But when both she and her closest friend Rosa receive invitations to compete to create spectacular pleasure gardens, with the prize being one life-changing wish, she realises she may be closer to finding it than she ever imagined. Now all she has to do is win. It kind of sounds like Caraval, like, you know, complete this challenge and win a wish. And it sounds magical and fantastical. I don't really know why it's in my Christmas book pile. I guess I must have put it there because it's called The Winter Garden, so it feels Christmassy, I guess. But I guess because it's like not about Christmas, I can kind of make it any time before summer read. I guess you could read it in the summer if you really wanted to. But yeah, I thought this was going to be a Christmas book because it's called The Winter Garden. But it sounds festive-ish, but if I don't read it in Christmas, I guess it's not the end of the world. But yeah, that is the next book I have, The Winter Garden. Next up is White Out. This book, I think it sounds like a follow-on from Blackout, which was a book by a collection of authors about all these kind of couples and groups of people who have separate stories, but then all the stories kind of interlink somehow, so the characters kind of know each other or they're related to each other, and I think that's super duper clever. And this seems like a kind of either a follow-on or just the next in that saga by the same authors. Does that make sense? So although it might not be a sequel to those stories, it's still by the same authors who wrote the Blackout stories. So yeah, this is called Whiteout, and on the back it just says, it's just before Christmas and no one is prepared for this whiteout, but sometimes the most magical moments are total surprises. As the city grinds to a halt, 12 teenagers band together to help a friend pull off the most epic apology of her life. Will they be able to make it happen in spite of the storm? And it says, from the best-selling, award-winning all-star authors who brought us Blackout comes this stunning novel of black teen love, with each relationship as unique and sparkling as snowflakes. I really enjoyed Blackout. It was so heartwarming. It made me really happy. So I'm really sure that Whiteout will do the same thing. And this is a nice little book, so I could probably read that in, like, you know, a couple of days. Now, what is Christmas without a cosy little murder? And that next book is The Very Merry Murder Club. I mainly picked this up because it's sprayed edges and it sounds really good. This is a middle grade, but I'm like, read whatever you want to read. You want to read middle grade? You read middle grade. You want to read a picture book aimed at 5-year-olds? It's still reading. And so yeah, I have got a middle grade book called The Very Merry Murder Club. I think this is a collection of stories again, by various authors, and they're all kind of about like adventure and mysteries and murders and stuff like that, like as the title suggests. So on the back it says, catnapping and crazy heists, suspicious Santas and Scrabble games, frost fairs and fancy dress. Join the Very Merry Murder Club and put your detective skills to the test with these fiendishly fun and festive mysteries. I just think I'm going to love it. Like, there's nothing about this that makes me doubt that I'm not going to really enjoy it. The last two books. Next one is Midnight in Everwood. This has just been re-released in paperback, and I'm really annoyed because the edges on this are boring, whereas the edges on the paperback are really nice. So I wish I'd waited to get it in paperback, but I bought this again in the January sale of Waterstones where all the hardbacks were half price. To put this one simply, it is a reimagining of The Nutcracker. I've never read Nutcracker, I've never watched Nutcracker, I just know what it is, and this is a reimagining of that. That is as easy as it gets. And do you know what, The Nutcracker, I feel like if I had watched or read it as a kid, it'd be one of those really nice cozy Christmassy stories I'd return to year after year. So maybe this will do that for me. You never know, I might hate it, but also I doubt it. So that is Midnight in Everwood, and I think I'm going to really enjoy that when I get round to it. And again, although it looks quite chunky because it's hardback, I think this will be one that I kind of skim through fairly quickly. And then the last book is one I bought on Friday, so 2 days ago, and that is the Penguin Book of Christmas Stories. How gorgeous is that cover? I mainly looked at it because it was a cloth bound book and I'd never seen this book before, and I realised what it was. I was like, well, now I have to get it to add to my Christmas book collection, like I need any more books, but I had to buy it, so you know, there we go. And it's just a, like it says on the tin, a collection of stories from various authors. So we've got like a Hans Christian Andersen story, we've got an Anton Chekhov story, we have got stories from lots of people I've never even heard of. So I think they're quite classic stories, quite old ones, but I don't care. It's Christmas, it's a pre-book. I love it. There's quite a few like story collections here, so that's quite nice because it means I could probably dip in and out of them as my mood takes me. And that is my Christmas book stack. Oh, I love it. I know that this is very, very, very ambitious considering we're already 4 days into the month and I've not yet finished my 2 current reads. But yeah, hopefully I'll get through at least one of these books and the rest will just pass over to next year. I hope that whatever you read this month makes you happy. I hope that you enjoy the festive season. I hope you take care of yourselves and each other, eat all the nice food, treat yourself, and have a lovely December. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you all again soon, and bye.